confusion and chaos in the minds of the voters in Delhi. Voter manipulation has been a big claim that has seen allegations fly thick and fast between the two parties. So on the sidelines of a big poster and campaign war and amid campaign songs being released in the run-up to the Delhi battle, and unrelenting political campaign on part of all stakeholders concerned has put the spotlight on how much merit do these allegations hold and what is at stake when these voters brainstorm on the deciding factors this election in the national capital. To put in perspective the Chief Election Commissioner's response, we need to decode for you the pointed criticism made by the Aam Aadmi Party. It all started with the Aam Aadmi Party levelling serious allegations of voter manipulation in New Delhi constituency, where Arvind Kejriwal, remember, is the sitting MLA. The party has accused BJP of orchestrating efforts to tamper with the voter list to influence the outcome of the upcoming polls. So let's start straight away with the big allegations that have been leveled by the Aam Aadmi Party so far. Atishi, the Chief Minister, claims that between December 15 and January 2nd, over 10,500 new voters were added to the New Delhi constituency. Further, she alleged that between 29 November and the 2nd of January, about 5.77% of the voters were removed from the voter list. So manipulation in the electoral roll in the national capital is being alleged. Furthermore, Atishi argued that adding 10% new voters while simultaneously removing 5.77% of voters could have a substantial impact on the election results in Delhi. The Delhi Chief Minister also highlighted that 4,283 voter deletion applications were filed by just 84 individuals, which she says suggests that a small group of people may be behind a large number of deletions. The party further demanded immediate action, including 100% verification of objectors, house-to-house surveys, public disclosure of applicant details and telephonic confirmations to prevent further fraud. Fraud being the word that's being spoken of by the Aam Aadmi Party. And amid accusations, counter-accusations, these allegations between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP being traded off alleged irregularities in Delhi's electoral rolls, a new twist has emerged. The District Election Office of New Delhi has flagged concerns about political interference and operational disruptions as he claimed attempts by the Aam Aadmi Party to exert pressure on him. Now, here's what the New Delhi DEO said. He wrote to the Chief Electoral Officer. The District Election Officer accused the AAP MPs of attempting to exert pressure on his office. Specifically, the poll officer pointed to Raghav Chadda and Sanjay Singh, both prominent AAP leaders who he says have been directly pressuring him. Further said that Aam Aadmi Party has demanded details of those who raised objections to the voter list. So why are these details being sought is something that was perhaps being opined by the DO. The poll office also clarified that it is not mandatory to share the details of individuals who've raised objections regarding the voter list. The sharing of such information could potentially lead to misuse or targeting of specific voters, which would undermine the fairness of the election process. He also added that Delhi Chief Minister or former Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal called for a meeting with him, but the agenda for the meeting was not specified by the Aam Aadmi Party convener. All of that has been penned down by the election officer, and in response to the ongoing allegations of electoral irregularities, the Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar strongly defended the Election Commission's process, the procedures, silenced critics and doubters, further clarifying the robustness of the election process, not just around voter manipulation in the national capital, but also all this while the allegations that have been leveled by the opposition around alleged EVM tampering. So let's take you through the comments that came in from the CEC, rejected the claims of malfunctioning or tampered electronic voting machines. He stated that there was no such evidence to suggest any unreliability in EVMs, which are a cornerstone of India's election system. He also assured that the machines are regularly tested and checked for integrity before and after the elections. He also clarified that EVMs and the voter verification system is designed in such a way that invalid votes cannot be cast. He further addressed concerns around allegations of tampering with voting machines and electoral data and described these claims as completely baseless. And responding to the allegations related to voter deletions in the national capital, the Chief Election Commissioner stressed that no deletion of voters can occur without the submission of Form 7, specified Form 7, a prescribed form for objecting to voters' inclusion. This ensures the voter deletions are not carried out, and if at all they are carried out, it only happens following due process and legitimate objections. All of this specified by the CEC further reiterated that the process of deleting or adding names to the voter list is carried out rigorously and adheres to strict legal and procedural guidelines. Furthermore, rejected the Aam Aadmi Party's charges, stating there were almost 70 steps in the entire process where political parties worked alongside the Election Commission and had the right to raise issues, once again reaffirming that there is no room for manipulation with the election process. Yet, viewers, questions are being asked. Delhi elections are witnessing a heated campaign. Bogus voters is a big controversy since these allegations have been levelled both by the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. And amidst this, the Election Commissioner putting to rest all speculations. But who really is fear-mongering in the national capital? We'll take that forward with our experts in just a bit. Here are the top reactions that have come in so far.
चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर को कल एक पत्र लिखा है, ये पूरे डिटेल्स के साथ किस तरह से नई दिल्ली विधानसभा में बहुत बड़ा वोटर फ्रॉड हो रहा है उसके बारे में।
कोई डिलीशन हो ही नहीं सकता जब तक उसके पीछे फॉर्म 7 ना हो। पोलिंग ऑफिसर्स को धमकाने की स्टेज तक लोग चले जाते हैं बोलने।
राघव चड्ढा और संजय सिंह जाकर निर्वाचन अधिकारी को धमकाते हैं, नीचे के अधिकारी को धमकाते हैं और तुम्हें देख लेने की धमकी देते हैं।
प्रदूषित दिल्ली, भ्रष्टाचार दिल्ली, शीश महल की दिल्ली और आरोप प्रतिरोध की दिल्ली से लोग थक चुके हैं, परेशान हो चुके हैं।
And joining me on the broadcast at 6 p.m. are Tom Vadakkar, national spokesperson of the BJP, also Anika Mehrotra, spokesperson of the Congress, and Desh Ratan Nigam, lawyer and political analyst. But my first question is to political analyst Ravi Srivastav, who's perhaps going to be putting forward some of the views that he senses are being opined by the Aam Aadmi Party. Mr. Srivastav, at least trusting you on that one. So very good evening to you as well. Tell us what you make of, the detailed response that's coming from the Chief Election Commissioner, because the Aam Aadmi Party, of what we've heard, has so far not wanted to really reflect on the pointed rebuttal that's coming from Mr. Kumar as far as voter manipulation is concerned. We've seen Atishi, the Chief Minister, talk about not, being given the official residence, yet she'll continue to work for the people of the national capital, and a host of other reasons, but no specific response to what the CEC said. Why?
I think Mr. Rajiv Kumar's press conference was just 4 hours before, and probably Aam Aadmi Party will definitely draft their reply to whatever clarifications the CEC has provided. But there are few things which are very crucial about the CEC's role. Now, the complaint made by Atishi and others, Raghav Chadha or Mr. Sanjay Singh and Raghav Chadha both are elected representatives. They are the member parliament and they are definitely lawmakers. So a lawmaker, if it is visiting an office of a bureaucrat, that is district election officer, I don't think it's a kind of a crime or a kind of a pressure tactics or any such thing. Or if they applied any pressure tactics, the DU can definitely lodge a formal complaint against them if it is there. So they were clarifying, they were asking about the people who had made this kind of voter deletion, bogus voters, etc., because they have found certain things which are not in order, which are showing that a large number of voters their names have been deleted or something like that. And in certain cases, I was hearing Mr. Manish Sisodia who said that even the complainant name is not available over there. So on whose complaint the names were
Mr.
removed?
Srivastava, before you reflect on that, the pointed allegation from the DAO, at least through the letter that we've accessed, is not about wanting to meet the DAO alone. It's also about exerting pressure on him. So why should Raghav Chadha or any other Aam Aadmi Party leader, including Sanjay Singh, do that? In what capacity?
See, the word pressure is highly subjective. He has to specify that what actually they asked for and what he could not provide. Or if they have used any kind of derogatory language or any kind of
One of them,
humiliation
sorry
or
to
insult.
interrupt you there again, Mr. Srivastava, one of them could be seeking details of those who have raised objections via these applications. The CEC has clearly spoken about how some of those details cannot be, cannot be put forth.
I think, Christine, you understand very well that the election process is the soul of the democracy. And in democracy, it has to be that the election commissioner or his representatives are to be like a Caesar's wife. They have to be above all kind of suspicions. They have to clarify to the public representative that everything is fair, transparent and correct. With the action, if they are taken, it is absolutely in line with the law of the land. It is not that they can do anything at their own or discriminately or something like that. So they have a full right to ask for any kind of a detail, or if that detail was not in the preview of that, which election commission should provide, then they can give a written answer for that we will not provide this
And
detail
like I said, Mr. Srivastava, all of that has clearly been laid out by the Chief Election Commissioner. Not just that, it's not as though the Aam Aadmi Party was not in possession of the entire process that is normally followed. The Election Commission website has it laid out properly, and that's what was flashed by the Chief Election Commissioner earlier today. But before I go across to both the BJP and Congress representatives, Mr. Deshratan Nigam, was anything left to doubt today in the press conference? Because the first question I asked Mr. Srivastava was, why was there no mention of the clarifications that have come in from the Election Commission via this press conference from the Aam Aadmi Party, which held a press conference 1 hour into the EC press conference?
Well, Christine, in fact, the electoral process in India is very transparent, subject to judicial review, and anybody who's aggrieved of it, instead of doing press conference, must approach the redressal mechanism that we already have in our system. First is the Election Commission. You must file everything before that. And there is a process, as you rightly pointed out, Form 7, where cogent reasons have to be given, and on that basis and the objections contained therein, a name is deleted. There were news in the reports that 28 people residing in one single address, one room, they were not being able to be traced also. So such kind of, people, the fraud voters, fictitious voters have been there, and it is the job of the Election Commission to do its duty and responsibilities, which they are doing. Yes, doing press conference and all is all political. Just because the elections have been announced, so you've got to do a press conference. Electoral process starts much before that. And people, the agents and the officers go door to door to verify it also. And if there are objections to it, they deal with it. And if you are not satisfied with the objections, you have Representation of People's Act to file your objections to the court and then get itself redressed. But that would not be done. The whole problem out here is the anti-incumbency of the existing government, the non-performance of the promises that they did, and also the precarious situation of Delhi, whether it is road traffic, flooding, water supply, or electricity issues being, charged. There are huge number of lists and scams and so many things. So in order to divert that attention, bring up this issue of the electoral fraud, voter list fraud, despite the fact you have mechanism to do it, you have not yet utilized, because that mechanism was available to the people whose names may have been deleted through a due process of law. Those people have not taken any steps. The difficulty is the leaders are creating the issue. If any petition would have been filed in the court, if their names was deleted, they should have been before the court. But the problem arises, the fictitious voters coming from various states, voting there also and here also. Therefore, the need of the hour is also electoral reforms, link voter ID card with the Aadhaar card, then you will actually realize that there are biometrics available to it. If somebody has voted at one place, will not be able to vote at another place.
Okay.
So these are the issues that I think the next step of electoral reform should take into consideration.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Mr. Nigam. Coming back to you in just a bit. Mr. Tom Vadakkan, this voter manipulation allegation was not specifically leveled by the Aam Aadmi Party. The BJP did engage in it as much. In fact, the BJP was constantly referring to the spike in new registrations close to elections. Is that concern addressed today, or the BJP still opines the same and is concerned about the manner in which some of these new registrations have surfaced in the run-up to Delhi elections?
I think it was very categorically clear today. The Election Commission has gone by the rule book and has gone into the transparencies and the associations that have been done through their agents at the ground. And we are fully convinced that the institution of the Election Commission will stand its ground because they are on the side of the law. Now, as to the question of Mr. Ravi talking about the possibility of these great leaders going to the electoral office and saying pressure was being pulled up. So the question of what pressure means, I think in the dictionary that Mr. Ravi reads, there's a very clear-cut implication of a negativism in this. He's been polite and he's put it in writing. I mean, no bureaucrat puts it in writing. The fact of the matter that pressure has been put on him and his office is being done in writing and is in public domain. Mr. Ravi, please respect these bureaucrats who are working under pressure.
Don't
come on, let me complete. Let me complete, Mr. Ravi.
Don't give me
Mr.
lectures,
Ravi,
please.
let me
And
complete.
you don't name me. I have
No,
never
Mr.
named you.
Ravi, let me
I
complete.
have never named you. Don't name me.
You have your
Don't name
side.
me.
I
Please.
will talk.
You
what
talk your
my
own
party-
subject. You
I am
make your
talking
own
on my
subject.
own
You make
subject.
your own submission. Don't name
I am
me.
making my submission.
No, don't teach
What
me.
you have submitted
Don't
in public
teach me that
domain
how to deal
has
with
to be corrected.
the
He is
election
put
commissioner
in
or the
public
DEO.
domain.
Don't tell me,
Mr.
please.
Ravi, he is
I
given
have
a
enough knowledge
written
about-
complaint.
I
You
have
accept
enough
it
knowledge
or
about
not.
the electoral
It's
process.
not our
You
concern.
don't try
The
to teach
Election
me. Don't become a
Commission
professor.
is an
Please.
institution we all respect. Tomorrow you will
No,
come
why
on the
should
same channel on the 8th.
I have
You will
my
say
I have my own
blame the
opinion which I'll
EVMs.
express it.
I know the games
My
you
own
play.
opinion.
You will
You
blame the
cannot-
EVMs in
you
your
cannot-
next step, Mr. Ravi. We have known these games for long. When you are
What games you
facing a huge
No,
defeat,
I
people like
built
you
believe
come here
that what
as
kind of
analysis.
opinion you have.
You are one person who
kind
was
of
Okay,
thrown
what we'll
out
do
by
is
the Aam Aadmi
we'll let
I'll
Ravi
express it.
Srivastava respond to that, Mr. Vadakkan. One question to him and then I'll let him respond because speaking over each other is not helping here clearly. Mr.
Yeah, but
Vadakkan,
let
your
him-
pointed question.
My pointed question is, this bureaucrat, the electoral officer, has put it in writing that he is being pressurized and the pressure is indicative of a negative energy from these lawmakers. In short, they are threatened him. He's been kind enough to use his words very carefully.
Okay.
And the election commissioner has clarified every issue that has come up.
Besides,
so far.
isn't it incumbent on, be it the AAP convener or the Delhi Chief Minister to specify the agenda before seeking an appointment or wanting to meet any of the
Absolutely.
electoral officers, Mr. Srivastava?
Not at all. Not at all.
Why not?
Christine.
Why not, sir?
No,
It applies
not
to
at all.
everybody.
They are a chief minister.
They are not a
chief-
political representative, sir. They don't belong to the Aam Aadmi Party or the BJP or the Congress.
Till such time, they are the constitutional authorities and they can definitely seek an appointment. What is wrong in it? Now, let me please clarify it.
Yes,
that
surely,
my friend-
but without specifying the agenda, sir. It's election season. They too have a lot of things listed out before them.
See, election season has taken effect from today. It was still yesterday, it was no election season. It was a normal process, the normal bureaucratic work. So it is
Without
not an
agenda.
election.
So the Election Commission's responsibilities, duties have been ongoing for a while now. That's when the electoral roll is finalized. So it's not really
Christine.
with effect from today, but okay, go ahead.
if it is the election commissioner was so clean and transparent, what action did he take on the serial offenders in the past elections? Did he mention even one? Hundreds of EVMs were found faulty or something like that.
There you begin.
Did he mention
Before
any
the
number of
elections, the
that?
EVM.
That those machines
Mr. Ravi, you
those
are a
machines were
chronic
faulty.
case.
I'm
of
sure Anika also
EVM.
wants to come in on this.
You dream about
Mr.
EVM.
Madhakkar, Mr. Srivastav, hold on. She's been patiently waiting, so let her come in and respond. Thank you, Anika, for waiting patiently. But yes, EVM is also, pretty much the central theme of the opposition, including the Congress. After Haryana, Maharashtra, you've sought a detailed response from the election commissioner. They've denied it time and again. The CC reiterated today and specified the clean chit from a few courts in the country as well.
Okay, ma'am. At the onset, Ms. Walia, let me tell you, yes, Aam Aadmi Party has the history of calling the bureaucrats and thrashing them. It was in the CM office also. They have done with the MP also. So they have a history of that, and we never know what they must have said there. As rightly said by Raviji also, the complaint should have been specific as to what, and even the district officer should have specified as to what they said. A. B. Yes, the election commissioner comes, thinks praises. He has a shero shairi. Is that what we are looking for, ma'am? Or are we looking for clean election process? It has to be fair and clean. Let me tell you, ma'am, the voting percentage increases by the night by 12%. Where have we seen that in the previous history? And then you have to be specific. If Form 6 has been added, that is to add the name. And for Form 7, the deletion. Then the voter, the person who wants to delete it, his whole detail has to be there. So, I mean, if a person, if I want to delete somebody's name,
You're talking about about the spike in the voter turnout, right?
Exactly.
And you're saying certain issues were left unaddressed. The fact is, the same rule, the same process, the same procedure applied to states where you've also won elections, all by yourself and in alliance with others like Omar Abdullah's party.
So you think BJP will do it in the entire country? They will do it definitely. That is why they're asking one election, one nation. What are you saying, ma'am? Look at the way. Nevertheless, let me come to the point. Ma'am, tell me one thing. How can a vote be added to a place which doesn't even exist? And you have 30 voters there. Who is supposed to be looking into that? The political parties or the election commissioner?
Which place are you talking about? Can you be specific about your allegations?
In the most of the television shows, there were reports wherein the reporter went and saw that there was nothing there, not even a house number existed. And there was just a wall. And there were 30 voters just added there. You think it's fair? Your election commissioner comes and blows his trumpet.
That's why you have a summary revision, Ms. Mehrotra. That's why we see the electoral rolls being printed, election after election, year after year.
Ma'am, are we supposed to be going and challenging that? Or the election commissioner, you on one breath say that a person comes to verify. I agree on that. Even in our household, they come to verify whether the names are there or not. And then, despite that, the names are existing, ma'am. How can you bluff the people of this country? So the election commissioner
hence you have booth level officers, and hence that was spoken of by the chief election commissioner. But Ms. Mehrotra, I'll let Deshratan Nigam ji come in. He can once again re-emphasize on the entire process. Mr. Deshratan Nigam ji, no, because the CC very clearly spoke about this, Ms. Mehrotra, and that's important to highlight. There is a cycle that is followed. There is a manner in which all of these
change. We have seen many elections and the process still remains the same. Nothing has been added, ma'am. Form 6, Form 7.
Okay, if the process is the same, then what explains the kind of additions and deletions that the Aam Aadmi Party is alleging? I'll let Mr. Nigam respond. Mr. Deshratan Nigam, please respond to what Ms. Mehrotra is saying.
In fact, there is a due process already laid down. And some people may have their grievances. But the debate and political debates and politics which goes around it, it's fine. It goes with the elections. But what happens is that the two major parties, which is the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, seems to be very disheartened at this stage. Not because of the electoral rolls, probably because of something which is probably lying in future. Because it's a triangular contest, and in a triangular contest, a certain party we have seen in India, which is BJP, has a clear advantage. That is the political analysis of the entire situation. Therefore, you have to look into it. Please don't.
Madam,
I'll let you respond. Monica, I'll let you respond. Please let him complete. I'm coming back to you next. I'm coming to you next.
So it's a simple mathematics, a triangular contest one. and Aam Aadmi Party is facing anti-incumbency and as well as various scams which are sub judice before the court. Secondly, let me also point out, when you have an election meeting with an election commissioner, you want election commission to give you a very concrete and objective reply. They will not be able to reply if you go there without any agenda. And then you come out, you say election commission did not reply. So there has to be specific points which they have to be told in advance so that they can reply point wise. So this is how we do it. It's not an open-ended or nebulous or state of flux that you go to the election commission without any agenda.
And the whole process, Ms. Sonika, at least what Mr. Kumar said, if we go by what he said it is in full coordination with political parties. They have the right to be as engaged as they wish to, and all clarifications, explanations will be provided to them as well. Quickly, and then I need to go across to the other two and wrap up. Yes.
The Congress asked appointment time and again with the agenda of election commissioner. Appointment was not given by him. What explains this, ma'am? Why does he shy away from that? Is that the way to respond to the political parties?
Please quote the incidents.
So many of them, back to back and forth.
Please give by dates and
also beyond the point, Sonika, beyond the point, if the election commission has clarified its position, has cited court orders, has given its clarification on the allegations around EVM tampering, then what more can they do even after meeting Congress officials? We can cite multiple instances of Congress delegations interacting with EC officials.
Ma'am, the booth in charge has the right to know the number of polls voted at the end of the day. That is also not supplied. Then you say it is not in the process. It is. It was very much there. Once the box are sealed,
the number of votes reiterating what's already been established by the Chief Election Commissioner. But Mr. Srivastava, you want to quickly respond? I need to go across to Mr. Vadakkan and then
I just want to say that somebody has put up an issue that Mr. CEC came out with lot of explanations with this, that. I am asking a simple question that he is obliged to do so. He is a public officer. He is appointed by the government. And it is not a job of the public.
Okay, but the question being asked to the AAP is it the Aam Aadmi Party? Is it the Aam Aadmi Party that is trying to create confusion in the minds of the voters? If there is a process that is going to be followed, then where are these allegations coming from? There are other allegations that today were just levelled by the Chief Minister, including how she's been denied her official residence. The sources in LG's office continue to say that she'd never taken physical possession. So how many of such claims are going to be made, sir, before the 5th?
That has not to do with anything election of the CEC. What I am saying is that the CEC, what he did about Mr. Ramesh Viduri, who was making...
I think there was a direct reference to that, Mr. Srivastava. But Mr. Vadakkan, that's going to be a point of concern for the BJP as well. It was opined by the CEC earlier today.
I think it has been categorically cleared by our party. We have said it very categorically. The party chief has himself said that negative language should not be used by both our party or the opposition party, and that matter rests. Election Commission has also reiterated this point. So to make an issue that this continues to be a process, the process that needs to be verified is the Sheesh Mahal issue. These are issues which they will never talk about.
Openly.
I mean, the whole issue
also stems from the fact that Mr. Viduri has been seen as a repeat offender, and yet he's the candidate for the BJP going into Delhi elections today. So that's where it's coming from. Lot of talking points clearly this election season. We will know the faith that has been placed by the voter in the national capital and which party really on the 8th. So it's not too far away, just a month away. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and Monica, for joining us on this very special discussion. That's all the time we have. We need to head into a very short break. On the other side, we get you details of the University Grants Commission proposal, major overhaul and recruitment of assistant professors, vice chancellors. It's also stirred a massive controversy. Tamil Nadu, one of the states that have opposed the draft guidelines. We tell you why. More details up next.
Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, could run to replace Trudeau alongside a number of current cabinet ministers. Polls strongly indicate that the Liberals will lose the election, no matter who the leader is. Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, could run to replace Trudeau alongside a number of current cabinet ministers. Polls strongly indicate that the Liberals will lose the election, no matter who the leader is. Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next...
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned. The University Grants Commission has unveiled the draft of its 2025 regulations, introducing some groundbreaking changes like permitting candidates to teach based on their highest academic specialization. In a major recruitment overhaul, the University Grants Commission has proposed new guidelines allowing candidates from diverse professional backgrounds to become vice chancellors and simplifying faculty recruitment criteria as well. According to the new draft rules released, now, industry experts or experienced professionals can be directly appointed as vice chancellors. Let's get you major reforms under the UGC as per this draft proposal. There are changes in the recruitment. Earlier, recruitment was relied on the academic performance indicator system, focusing on numerical metrics like publication in journals or conference publication counts. But now, candidates will be eligible for teacher appointment in the subject of their PhD, even if it differs from their undergraduate or postgraduate subject. Earlier, there was a cap on contract teachers at 10% of the faculty, and now as per this draft proposal, there's no cap. So essentially, it's more flexible to taking up vacancies. Furthermore, there are changes in the Vice Chancellor's appointment as well. We'll tell you how that's turned political, but earlier the selection of Vice Chancellor was through identification by a panel of 3 to 5 members, but the composition of the committee was not specified. And now the Chancellor or the Vice Chancellor is required to form the search cum selection committee consisting of 3 experts. The VCs earlier were required to be distinguished academicians with 10 plus years experience as professors in a reputed research or academic administrative organization with proof of having demonstrated academic leadership. And now it's open to senior professionals from industry, public policy, and more with leadership experience. Like I said, a lot of political reactions have been coming in. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M K Stalin strongly opposed the draft UGC regulations released by Union Education Minister a day earlier. The DMK has raised a series of attacks against the proposed regulations, accusing the central government of overreach and undermining the autonomy of state universities. Chief Minister M K Stalin also said that new UGC regulations granting governors broader control over VC appointments and allowing non-academics to hold these posts are a direct assault on federalism and state rights. The DMK views the draft regulations as an authoritarian move by the central government to impose top-down control over the educational system. The party also emphasized that education must remain in the hands of those chosen by the people, not dictated by governors acting at the BJP government's behest. Stalin has also criticized the role of governors in the appointment of vice chancellors, accusing them of acting at the behalf of the central government. The DMK has gone as far as calling the UGC notification unconstitutional. That's just the beginning of what we see turn out to be a big political controversy and attract similar responses from other opposition ruled states as well. We head into a very short break with that. On the other side, we also tell you about the rift that continues to widen between Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M K Stalin and Governor R N Ravi, and this time over national anthem not being played at the beginning of the winter session of the Assembly. We'll be right back with more.
Co-powered by
Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, could run to replace Trudeau alongside a number of current cabinet ministers. Polls strongly indicate that the Liberals will lose the election, no matter who the leader is. Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, could run to replace Trudeau alongside a number of current cabinet ministers. Polls strongly indicate that the Liberals will lose the election, no matter who the leader is. Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the
Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak. Well, tension between the DMK government and the Raj Bhavan are not new to the state assembly, viewers. But the DMK is gunning for the governor once again and has planned large-scale protests against him. Has also held him responsible for repeating the walkout from state assembly gesture for a third consecutive time. At the heart of this controversy is a request by Governor R N Ravi that the national anthem be played in the assembly. The governor alleged disrespect to the national anthem and the constitution and walked out of the state assembly without reading his customary address on the first day of the winter session. The DMK is now seeking the removal of the governor and says he's habitual of violating his constitutional practices. But do remember, the ongoing conflict between the DMK government and the governor in Tamil Nadu have a history of asserting regional autonomy. And now at the heart of this controversy is this incident during the winter session of the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly. So here's what happened and here's how it's placed when we talk about both the versions. Governor R N Ravi has accused Tamil Nadu Assembly of insulting the national anthem during the winter session. In response, the DMK has defended the practice of the national anthem not being sung at the beginning of the legislative session, stating that it was introduced in 1991 during the AIDMK government. The governor has gone further, emphasizing that not singing the national anthem in Tamil Nadu Assembly is a serious issue, implying that such actions undermine the honor of the constitution and national identity. The DMK has turned the tables, accusing Governor R N Ravi of insulting the people of Tamil Nadu with his actions. The governor has also labelled the actions of Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly and the ruling DMK as brazen disrespect to the constitution by not adhering to the standard practices expected in legislative assemblies across the country. On the other hand, DMK calls the governor's behaviour as an attempt to create political theatre and attempt to sow discord. Now, the big question we ask is, given this national anthem row that's come in and the governor staging a walkout once again, was the governor well within his rights in staging this walkout? What do facts indicate? We'll talk about that and much more But first up, the political reactions.
The DMK government has insulted the nation.
The DMK government once again proved that they are anti-national.
Well, Tom Varakan, national spokesperson of the BJP, along with Desh Ratan Nigam, loyal political analysts, continue to stay on with us. We'll try and go across to a DMK voice in no time as well. But Mr. Varakan, what do you make of this? You know, the allegation being leveled once again against the governor is that he's always acted at the behest of the BJP and the central government must withdraw him as the governor of Tamil Nadu, given these repeated incidents that have come to light.
I think the DMK should read the National Anthem code, which clearly indicates across the country a certain procedure to be followed, a constitutional position to be followed. And that has been defied. The logic is about regional and autonomy. But the underlying feature of this whole issue is appeasement. This is also a game to please certain section of society, and that is the hidden agenda. Now they have created this bogey that the governor is, walking out. What will the governor do if the national anthem is insulted? He has no other option. He can't stand by and say, well, that's the way it runs. He has to stand by, and he is the upholder of the constitution.
You know, the DMK has cited the fact that this is a norm and is being followed by, repeated governments in the state since 1991. That's when the AIDMK was in power. And the norm is the state following a practice wherein the state anthem is played at the beginning of the address and the national anthem is played after.
That is what they have been saying. I mean, I submit that, yes, they have been saying that. But the National Anthem Code is very categorical on this. Why is Tamil Nadu separate from the other part of the country? Whether it's Uttar Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir or Kerala or any other state. It is a procedure that is followed. If they don't follow it by default, they have to explain, not the governor.
Okay, Mr. Desh Ratan Nigam, Raj Bhavan has also been citing constitutional practices and precedent. But what do you make of this? Are states entitled to follow their own practices when it comes to assembly sessions such as this? Can they have the state anthem played at the beginning of a governor's address and the national anthem after?
Well, Christine, in fact, there is an act which is Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act of 1971, which is very categorical. Under that particular act, directive has been issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs, where it is said, in the case of the president and governors, during the address, where the address is being done to the assembly, before beginning of the address, at the end of the address, national anthem has to be played and everybody has to stand up. This is the law. Now, since 1991, as everybody is talking about, and if you look at Mr. Annamalai's ex-post, where he has clearly said in 1991, the practice started, both the state Tamil song and the national anthem were being played in the beginning and afterwards. Now, somewhere down the line, somebody, violated this particular code of conduct and deleted the national anthem from the beginning and went to the end of the presidential address. Both the national anthem and the Tamil song invoking Tamil Mother can be played in the beginning and should be played in the end.
We do
also.
have Mr. Dharnidharan, spokesperson of the DMK, with us as well. But to quickly ask you before I go across to him, it's a norm which is being followed by other states as well. Mr. Deshratan Nigam, there are other states that have their own provision in place in state assemblies with regards to when and how the national anthem should be played.
Well, in fact, the act which I just cited, 1971, it extends to whole of India. Not that it extends to one state and doesn't extend to any other state.
Okay.
And therefore, if you have your own song, but national anthem has to be played also at the beginning and at the end. You cannot have a precedent saying that you will violate that particular act of 1971 or the code of conduct which is there. So both the songs can be played right at the beginning and at the end.
Okay.
Somewhere down the line in Tamil Nadu, that practice was given up, and therefore this controversy, and governor cannot stand there and see the insult of the national anthem. He had, I think, rightly walked out. Either he would have been accused of violating the particular act and watching it in front of him.
Okay, Mr. Dharnidharan, how would you respond? It was a mere appeal that came in from the governor, says Deshratan Nigam ji. Both the state anthem and the national anthem could be played at the beginning of his speech. It's an appeal to have the national anthem played. We all take pride in the national anthem of the country. Why not just give in and adhere to it instead of creating so much of a political controversy, which we see today?
No, I think you can, how much ever you flip, how much ever you can retrospectively speak, whatever you want. He went, he walked away. Every year he needs a reason. In fact, yesterday when I woke up, the last year's memory was governor walking out of the assembly. That was the same thing. 2-year memory was also the same. Each time the reason is different. So the reason has not been the same. In fact, when he was the governor, for the first time when he was attending the assembly, Tamil Taiwan was played, and then national anthem was played. When the national anthem was being played, the governor walked away. So then has he not insulted the national anthem? I think your channel also had a debate on it. I only came and spoke that national anthem is being played and the governor walks away. Now he comes and says, I requested. When did he request? Even if he requested, we've given a clarification. That's all. This has been the practice since 91. It's not that it was started in 2024 January or not. It's not even the practice that was started in 2021 June or 2022 January. It's been the practice since 91, and this is within the state right. In fact, Karnataka has even launched their own flag, state flag. It's all within the rights of the state. That doesn't mean that we become anti-national. For example, even in Canada, Quebec has separate flag, separate anthem is played first, played last. So even every country, even in unitary nations, states have a lot of federal rights. Even in Germany, individual states have flag, they have songs that's played first and the end. So who's creating the controversy here?
So you're saying this is no brazen disrespect to the constitution and the national anthem, Mr. Dharnidharan?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think brazen, there's no question. I think only one person is disrespecting the constitution, that is the governor, and second is the BJP party. I'll tell you how the governor is disrespecting the constitution. He's an appointee, right? As a constitutional debate happened in the late 1940s, the discussion was, can the government be elected? Then they said, no, there should no election happen for the governor, because if he elects, there may be a parallel government. He has only constitutional duties, no power, no functions. That was written in the Constitutional Assembly debates. So that clarifies. Even the Supreme Court verdicts, consecutive verdicts have said, governor is nothing but shorthand expression of the State Council of Ministers. As recent as Justice Nahesh Rao has pronounced the same judgment. So if the governor is reading it differently and then behaving as an elected representative, then who's violating the constitution here?
Okay, right? This is no insult to the constitution or the national anthem. All right, Mr. Nigam and Mr. Vadakan, how do you respond to Mr. Dharnidharan's arguments?
I think I have to point out one of the articles of the Constitution of India, which is 51(1)(a), which is of fundamental duties, which clearly talks of respecting the national anthem. And based on that, and also the 1971 Act. Please hold on, listen to me, then you will be able to reply properly.
How is it disrespecting? Is the national anthem not being played? What was this gentleman doing when he walked away when the national anthem was being played?
First you listen to me, then you can reply. Otherwise, you will be...
If you talk something illogical, then it kind of tests my patience.
I'm coming to you, sir. Mr. Dharnidharan, you'll be allowed to respond to what he's saying. Let him complete. Yes, Mr. Nigam.
Therefore, fundamental duty given in 51, Article 51(1)(a), and also the 1971 Act, which I was talking about, and under that the directions which have been issued, and they have been upheld constitutionally valid. They have not been set aside. So it has to be followed. Those are and that particular Act of 1971 applies to entire country. You can have your state song, but you also have to play at the beginning and the end the national song as well. Nobody is disrespecting anything. And at the same time, when you have a national flag and a state flag, national flag has to be above the state flag. These are the directions which are given in the rules, laws framed under the constitution, constitutionally valid by the Supreme Court also, because that issue of flag hoisting also came up before Supreme Court when Mr. Naveen Jindal got the right through Supreme Court for hoisting the flags. Before that, there was a flag code of 1951, which prevented people from hoisting the flag. So these are the issues which have been already been dealt by the court. So you can't say you will not be playing or singing national anthem before the beginning of the address of the governor.
Okay, Mr. Dhanidharan, I'll let you come in, I promise, but a quick rebuttal to Mr. Vadakan as well. Mr. Vadakan, how do you respond to how the DMK is reading into the Governor's Act?
I think Mr. Nigam has very categorically stated the positions that have been from 71 to the other regulations he has mentioned. I'll only reiterate them. And the point here is, I have made this accusation that this is all to do with their appeasement agenda. Why else are they objecting to the national anthem being played? And you can play the Tamil anthem after that. But no, they won't do it. They will do it to appease, garner certain communities' votes. And they want to show the kind of disrespect to the national anthem, which they are regularly at it. And why?
Okay.
Simple reason is the law and order system has failed. There are murders in the streets. There are rapes happening. And they are not concerned about it. They're concerned about the governors walking out. These are DMK cadre people whom they are covering up. These are the issues that need to be addressed.
Okay. So, problem with the BJP, the Mahila Morcha wing of the Bharatiya Janata Party, several others who are, taking to streets to raise, for instance, justice in the Anna University sexual assault case. But you will take to streets, Mr. Dhanidharan, BJP says, when it comes to the Governor's Act, where he's merely just demanding that the national anthem be played. If that can end this kind of friction between the governor and the ruling DMK, what's the harm, sir?
I think more the BJP spokesperson speak, more that makes me laugh. I think should there
I know.
BJP spokesperson
I know you are at a circus.
Made synonymous, made me make synonymous being incoherent, non-logical. How horrendous. There's no logic anywhere in what they speak. The gentleman says because Tamil Taiwan is being played in the beginning, we are appeasing. They are doing appeasement politics.
You have failed the law and order. You have created a situation of murder in the streets, rape 151 BJP. And
Mr.
you have no investigation.
Mr. Vadakan, we'll let him respond. Mr. Vadakan, we'll try and go across to as many voices to cover this up, but let him respond. Mr. Dhanidharan.
No. Firstly and foremost, is amusing to me. Tamil Nadu is the most peaceful state as per NCIB data. Even this year, per day 5 rapes are happening in Uttar Pradesh. That doesn't mean I'm justifying this act. They come and complain about Tamil Nadu. I'll tell you, he's saying playing Tamil Taiwalte is appeasement politics. How? What is the logic? Who's doing politics here? This has been the procedure since 91. If it is violating the constitution, why was the Supreme Court keeping quiet so far? Right? Many states are doing this. So because you cannot come and lie in the national media or say whatever you want to say, like playing Tamil Taiwal is appeasement. How is appeasement? Tamil Taiwals are pride. That doesn't mean that we are disrespecting the national anthem. In every government function in Tamil Nadu since 1970s, first Tamil Taiwal and second national anthem. That doesn't mean that if you're going sung in last is disrespecting, and nowhere in the constitution it says that Tamil Taiwal should be sung in the national anthem should be played in the beginning. National anthem has to be played. Which is played is a prerogative of the organizer. That is here in the state assembly. The states have the prerogative. There is no insult.
Okay. Last word to Deshratan Nigamji. And sir, okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
10 seconds.
Well, in fact...
Who gave BJP the right to define who's national and who's anti-national? BJP the most anti-national party. I don't know how in certain states they win elections, but I'm telling you, any socio-economic metric, even law and order, Tamil Nadu does better than any...
Okay, we have the last few seconds, Mr. Dhanidharan. Sorry to interrupt you there. But Mr. Deshratan Nigam, and I do want a neutral perspective on this. What does the rule book suggest? Mr. Dhanidharan says each house follows its own convention, and we've seen that apply to a few state assemblies as well.
Well, in fact, he admitted, Mr. Dhanidharan admitted that first that Tamil song was played and then the national song should be played. But the trend today is, what is happening today is that in the beginning only the Tamil song is played, and after the address of the governor, the national song is played, which is violative of the act and the directives. Please understand that. This is what you have been following. That in the beginning you only have the Tamil song, not the national anthem. And in the end, you are having national anthem. That is the violation. In which order you do, it is your discretion. But it is clear violation of the act.
And Mr. Dharnidharan to that is proposing a legal challenge at the governor's end. But that's all the time I have, gentlemen. So I'm afraid we'll have to wrap it up with that. Thank you so much. The concern here is also the other run-ins that we've seen between the Tamil Nadu governor and the ruling DMK. So we'll take that up. But that's all we could pack for you in this edition. Thanks for watching. Over to Anand Narasimhan for the Right Stand.
Greenlam Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. You're on the right stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan and we are coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio presented by Greenlam Laminates. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Delhi decides on the 5th of February and the verdict is on the 8th of February. That's what the Election Commission announced. So, one Saturday, that's the 1st of February, is the budget. Then midweek, Wednesday, is the polling.